a scion of many worlds. Teacher, is this wise? One of her students asks after the giant stranger had departed. No, however, it's the only way our organization gets to survive in the eyes of the people. Getting in with these undaunted is a powerful movement. But if we sell out our dignity and reputation as we do so, then it will take decades, if not centuries, before our reputation is anything near what it is now. This is unfair. Yes, it is. However, just because it's unfair doesn't mean we don't have to deal with it. As much as I hate to admit it, we just don't have any practical way of killing our target. So, the deal is broken, which has not happened before. It hasn't? No, not once in the history of our order. We have always been keepers of unbiased history and the scythe to the throat of society. Everything about our order is about keeping ourselves stronger and clear of mind compared to all those around us. It's why my own daughters need to earn their way in with no bias to myself. It's why none of them have earned their way in. You regret that, deeply. But now is not the time. We are the killers, but we have friends as well in the 5 thief families, the Red Blade Warriors, and the local Entertainers Guild. Are you thinking of bringing them in as well? Knife asks. Not thinking, planning. I will be bringing them in as part of this, especially as I will need the entertainers to write a few new songs and poems about this. The money for the job needs to be returned, and it needs to be public knowledge, she says. Teacher, the runner that brought us the job was Amala Wake. She's the personal assistant of Lady Shimmer. She says as she considers. Lady Shimmer is capable and wealthy enough. However, she is also a noted spendthrift. There is no way that she would possibly spend so much wealth on anything, let alone on a single task. More her personal slave from the way the poor girl gets treated. Yes, Lady Shimmer is known for running her serving staff ragged, using maids as couriers, forcing guards to help with cleaning or repair. If you work for her, then you do everything and she doesn't care if you're trained. The teacher states. Teacher. Lady Shimmer is just one part of this. How many? She has friends. I'll need to go through her records to find out whom she was talking to around those times. Are you sure she'll have it? She's like most girls who inherit their positions, trying to measure up to people that they're simply no match for. Her great-grandmother earned a noble title for sheer mercantile skill. The only virtue that survived the generations was frugality, and it's been distorted into a vice, the teacher says, which is why we have no inherited positions. All must be earned, Knife says, and teacher nods. That is exactly it. Now, I need to get some work done, and you need to pass some messages for our allies to meet here tomorrow. Yes, teacher, Knife says, and she rushes off to her duties. Sheena Scorchfinger smiles to herself in the polished obsidian mirror. She may be getting on in years, but she's still very much active and strong. She also can't help but smirk to herself. That undaunted Titan Horus, he had both seen through and been fooled by her ruse at the same time. If you clearly have a large amount of makeup on to conceals your skin tone, it rarely matches the skin tone. He's going to look for any fire Araminta that doesn't have her actual skin tone if he's looking for her now. Plated wrap, wrist guards, shin protectors, and boots with reinforced toes. She then quickly sheathes several different knives around her person, hangs a sword on her side, reconsiders, and then trades it out for a small but heavy ball-headed mace. A blade is wonderful for unguarded skin, but a mace is best for armor. It hangs comfortably, and she quickly puts a covering robe over all the shining metal that dulls the clanking and clinking as well as hides it from view. The head armor goes on next, and it covers her entire face with an angled face mask. Her hair is tucked away, and a hood is pulled up to hide her glowing hair. Over the robe goes another belt with several pouches, one of which is filled with wooden throwing darts that will be extremely useful. Another has a basic pain-killing herb, and the last has a series of prepared orbs. With some heat, they will suddenly give off an enormous amount of choking smoke. If you're not ready for it, then it can incapacitate a fighter. If you are, then it will still block your sight. A few lock-picking tools tucked under the wrist guards, and she adjusts the mask a bit before nodding to herself. She then casually walks through the dilapidated and abandoned building that serves as one of several dens for her order in the city. A glance outside through a slat, and she then slips out. Just another anonymous warrior in the city, and she takes off running. To the trained eye, the side of a building has more places to grip and stand upon than a ladder, and she has two such eyes. Through her many years of long practice and practical use, climbing the building is even easier than crossing the street to reach the wall. She's on the rooftop in moments and then takes a quick run to the edge and leaps off with practiced strength. There is no issue as she reaches the next roof and then quickly rushes behind a chimney just in time to avoid the gaze of a city guardswoman. The rightly paranoid woman gazes in that direction for a bit, but then continues a slight patrol. The chimney is kept between them both without fail, and the moment the guard has her back turned, Teacher rushes to the side and leaps off again to the next roof, silent, unseen, and unstopped. There is roughly one guard on every 5 or 6 roofs. On more paranoid days, there's one every 3 or 4 roofs. In the days following Jasper dropping out of the sky, breaking the throne and making a huge show out of treating their queen like an idiot, it had been outright impossible to move around unseen with how paranoid and frequent the guards were. Groups of 3 every 4 roofs, and each one hyper-alert and very, very eager to start loosing arrows. They'd stuck to the streets those days. A solid 15 minutes, and she feels more awake and alert than she has all day. Nothing like a nice little run to wake up. She's also looking over the Shimmer Manor and watching to see how the guards are feeling today. The patrols are actually fairly tight. She's going to need about 5 seconds to get past the first gate and then wait a minute or two to get a chance to go up the wall and into Lady Shimmer's office. From there, she can get into the actual office the woman thought was a secret, but had been discovered in the early reign of her mother. A shingle from the roof provides a distraction as it shatters to the left of the guards. A touch of axiom braces her fall, and she hits the ground in total silence as the 2 women look away. She races through their blind spots and into the inner compound. The garden is flashy, well kept, and offers easy cover for her to wait the short amount of time it takes for there to be a gap in the guard rotation. She rushes the wall, and between the stones she has enough grip to haul herself up to the ornamental fixtures a level up. She then uses it to hurl herself up to an overhang she hides behind as the guards move. If they had the sense to look back, they'd see her, but they don't, so they don't. One of her wooden darts easily slips between the shutters and unlatches the window coverings. They open and she's in the office. She then closes the shutters and now effectively has the run of the manor. She has to resist whistling in contentment at this old song and dance as she quickly scans the documents in the room to find that it's not going to be a completely trivial matter this time, just a mostly trivial one. She cracks open the secret passageway to the hidden office and slips in. She can sense the heat of someone nearby, and she smiles to herself. This is going to be a good one. The Lady Shimmer herself is here, and clearly unhappy if the tone of the muttering is to be taken at face value. Sheena slips in behind her without a sound and just listens to the fool. She talks about how nothing is getting done, how she's losing money with everything going on, and how the damn duplicitous dark Arumenta are all but bleeding money out of her. I'd say it's more poor investments doing that, Sheena remarks, and there's an undignified squawk from the noble woman as she flails and tries to turn at the same time. Oh, calm down. If you were wanted dead, you would be dead. Oh, like... She takes a moment to catch her breath. Like that wretched moth. You paid us to kill a person, not a god, Sheena says. That creature is not a god. Oh, from what I understand, he is centuries old, has proven invulnerable to every form of attack me and mine can offer and far more. Oh, please. We were given a tuft of his fur. We broke 4 weapons on it and nearly melted the anvil it laid upon as we tried to burn it. You have not paid us anywhere near enough to face an opponent that is forever wearing an indestructible suit. Do you think I'm stupid? Lady Shimmer demands, and Sheena bites back the immediate yes that she wants to say to the woman's face. I think that my opinion of you doesn't matter. The contract is not completable. So the Sisterhood of Slayers has failed, Lady Shimmer asks, and Sheena's jaw drops a little. Is that what they're calling us now? I thought your current nickname for my organization was the Silent Slicers, Sheena asks. This name was decided on earlier today. Pay attention, Lady Shimmer states, and behind the mask, Sheena rolls her eyes. I see. Regardless, the target is powerful to a scale that you simply don't have enough money to afford a contract against them. You can't afford Jasper Blue, also known as Emmanuel Skitterway, also known as the Great Moth, the Mighty Moth, and He Who Flutters Beyond Death. I don't care what name they have. I want them dead. It's not possible. He's too powerful, Sheena insists. Then what good are you? She demands, and Sheena tilts her head. You came to me to do what you wouldn't dare, but it cannot be done by me and mine, Sheena says. As for what good I am here, in your private sanctum, with no one but you aware of my presence, and that's only because I chose to speak with you. So, you're a threat to me, but not that wretched moth. If it can be cut, it can be killed. He cannot be cut. It is that simple, Sheena says. Is this the part where you kill me in vengeance for sending your sisters to their deaths? Do you honestly think it was only me involved? If I die, my allies will know, and they're alive, Sheena says. What? The moth is so unbothered by the attempts on his life that he has refused to kill anyone. My girls are alive. So no, the contract is merely broken. The question is, where do you want it? Want what? The refund. The job is undone, cannot be done. Therefore you are owed your money back, Sheena says, and she can see the greed flicker through Lady Shimmer's eyes. Ah, so you're not unreasonable. Good. Do you have it on you? No, I don't carry large amounts of gold during random jaunts through Miru. If I'm carrying the wealth somewhere, it's with purpose to assure that none is lost. Sensible, sensible. Bring it here, all of it. I will tell my guards to let you in and, Lady Shimmer says, gesturing to her desk and turning to smile to herself as she imagines the fun little bit of profit she's about to make. But when she turns back to Sheena, the woman is already gone.